Now I'm going to have to whisper this one really quietly. I think Jay Hurd might be better than Pat Nevin. Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's part 26 and today we start season 4. And my word, has it been a meteoric rise. We started season 3 with our Broth having just got our move from Brechin into Scottish League 1. What transpired was pretty incredible. A squad we started with in the third tier, just 13 senior pros, but no injuries, and we got on a good run. And Dundee came calling. Yes, a local geographic move, but a move to the Scottish Premiership nonetheless. And then we flew up the league. We finished 5th. We scraped into Europe. And in the Scottish Cup final on Boxing Day, if you haven't seen it, it's in the eye above. Probably one of the most bizarre and crazy games I've ever had on this channel. And today we're back for season 4. Of course, our director of football's had a bolstered budget to prepare for the new season, including European football and 2 games a week. And we've also got a few injury problems. We'll be playing Hibernian away from home, the side who we finished the league season against last time around. And we've got to really reflect on a crazy transfer window. Our director of football has been brilliant. But of course, if you are looking forward to the transfer special, enjoying the series, and also looking forward to us getting our first full Scottish Premiership season under our belts, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. We've got 1 more mini break to come on New Year's Day. And aside from that, the content will keep on flowing. Bangor City tomorrow, a big one from that one yesterday. And a new season starting in both at the same time. 2 transfer specials in 2 days. And European football to come. Of course, there's 2 live streams a week as well. Tuesday evenings at 5:30, Sunday mornings at 10:30. And we had our Luton Christmas series last week. Not quite as successful, but you can catch up with that in the eye above. But there's only one place to start, isn't there? We have had a big summer at Dundee, a big budget for our director of football. And I kind of feel for him because some of the targets he's missed out on are really harsh. He'd really targeted good positions, and due to work permits, better clubs coming in, and many other reasons as well, he's not been able to get them all. But he has been relentless. 1 offer, job done, gets another offer in. He is so hard working, and he's given us a window to really celebrate. So let's start by having a look at the release players. Just a couple of names on here, one of them disappointing. That man, as we go to the outs, is Beavis Mugabe. A player who featured for us a little bit last year. He's now gone back to Yeovil in England where he has played before. But he was a good solid squad player for us. Maybe not good enough as we tried to push towards the top of the league. But I really liked him. He did a job whenever we asked. Lewis Stevenson was in the reserves. Only made 1 appearance under me. But he has now retired as well. He had 16 years at Hibs where he was best known. And did a really good job there. But he is now an unemployed coach. And hopefully he'll get his non-playing career off to a start soon. But let's talk about the transfers. It is a busy one. If we go to this season, already 8 players coming in. A couple of them youngsters, a couple we already knew about, but 3 or 4 big first team signings. But let's talk about the outs first, because we have brought in a bit of money as well. There's one deal I'm not quite sure on. The rest I'm pretty happy with. So Alex Crean has gone out on loan to Crewe, the first of 2 players to go there. He became our 3rd choice goalkeeper after he brought another one in, and as a result Crean has left. A season of football at 23 will not harm him, and he may well come back a stronger player. Second up, also to Crewe on loan, is Zeno Ibsem Rossi, a player who's decent but doesn't meet our attribute set. The director of football has loaned him out to Crewe. Not so much on this occasion because he's got a new centre-half in, but because I promoted Josh Archibald to the first team from the under-18s. He's 3-star ability rated as well, has a better balance and is much younger and from the academy. So I think he just saw Ibsen Rossi as available, and when Crewe came in and offered to pay his wages, you can't blame him for accepting. Possibly the best deal in terms of sales was Jordan Roberts, 165 grand to Exeter. He was a good player for us at first, got that big injury of course, and never really recovered. He was now one of the worst rated wingers at the club, and again, I get why he's accepted the offer. He was a big earner, I think he had the 4th highest wage, and Exeter have matched it, so it's a great move for him. But I can see why he was sold as well. So I'm not delighted about these decisions, but I can understand them all. The one I can't understand is John Robertson, a young striker and left winger who's gone to Ross County for under £60,000. And he is a superstar. He's 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential, made a few appearances for us last season. And I just feel like he had more to offer, certainly on a permanent basis. I could have got him loaning him out, but to sell him permanently seems really odd. He had such high potential, such quality that he could have reached. So that's the one I'm not sure about, and he started the Championship season brilliantly with his new club Ross County, who of course got relegated from this league last year. The last one is Lewis Strapp, who's gone on loan to Salford. Probably the one position I'm a bit surprised by, because we've now got 3 quality left backs due to our director of football bringing in 2, plus Jordan Marshall, who was starting last season. So I've no problem with him letting Lewis Strapp go. I'm just surprised we've now got 3. One of the things I hadn't looked at, of course, is the fact that some of the transfers go on to the old one as well. All the ones that were done in June. So let's start by getting rid of the last 2 there. Lyle Cameron went on a free to Falkirk, 20 years old, and was never going to reach his potential now. And Liam Grimshaw was transfer listed when we came in, I think, had been the whole time, and he's now gone to Wigan. Not a lot of money for him, about £20,000, and I'm sure he'll do alright there. He's playing in League One, and he's a solid footballer. We can't ask for much more. However, let's move on to the ins. We've got a couple of youngsters, so Jacob Glass is one of them from Peterhead, 1-star ability, 2-star potential, and Dale Taylor from Nottingham Forest, 1.5-star ability, 3-star potential. But the first 2 big signings of the window, and they acted really quick, in June getting them done early, which after our growth last year is an absolute blessing. We've got Harvey Griffiths coming on loan from Manchester City. We're contributing $20,000 a month and £1,500 a week in wages. 4-star ability, 5-star potential. Can also cover in the holding role and at centre half. And we needed to improve that midfield 3. Regan Thompson went back from his loan, and this guy is one hell of an upgrade as a replacement. So a good central midfielder, a fantastic start to the window. This already got me excited. But the next one had me on top of the world. We didn't get a new goalkeeper in January, but then I saw an offer for a name I recognise well. Daniel Bentley, who was at Derby at this point. £70,000 rising to 100k. 4.3 grand a week. Big money, I accept. 30 years of age. 3.5 ability, 3.5 potential. A new number 1 goalkeeper. Nearly 200 championship games as a first choice keeper. You cannot ask for much more at this level. He's going to get his crack at Europe, and we're going to have a much bigger upgrade in goal. I mean, our director of football in June alone had prepared us for the season. Everything else on top of that was a little bonus. But 2 brilliant signings to start it. And then we get to July, where there's more. At that point, we were joined by the 2 we already knew were coming in. Clark Robertson from Rotherham, a left back and a centre half, 3-star ability, 3-star potential. Just a really solid pro. And another one that we like to have in a dressing room. Former Scottish under-21 international, loads of EFL and Scottish Premiership experience. And at 29 he's at his peak. Couldn't ask for more than that. And George Cooper came in from Plymouth, the former Crew youngster. Played for Peterborough, loads for Plymouth too. 2.5 ability, but 3.5 potential. If we can get him playing regularly, get him in form, I've got a feeling he's going to improve and be a superstar for us. I could be wrong, but I'll wait and see. He's training all right, he's doing well for us. We're going to try and get him a lot of football. Another youngster followed in Jaden Warner, 2-star ability, 3-star potential. And then came another big gun. Last year we had McPake on loan from Rangers on the right. This year it's Kane Richie Hosler. The director of football's contributing 4k a week in wages, also paying 43 grand a month. But I think it's worth it. A 20-year-old Englishman capped at under 19 level, already got football under his belt, 1 game for Rangers, a whole season for Sunderland, for Forest Green and for Havant and Waterlooville. From the City Academy, 3.5 ability, 4.5 potential. The perfect upgrade, the perfect replacement. 2 wingers that have got quality on the ball. And then came Luke Chambers from Celtic. We get 1 loanee from each of the old firms, seems to be the usual pattern. And this time it was a left back. Again 3.5 ability, 5-star potential. A really good young player. Only £1.5 grand a week in wages. Another Englishman capped at under 19 level. And a solid addition to the squad. So at this point, I thought we were pretty well balanced. However, after another youngster in Callum Crook, a young striker with 1-star ability, we then got our first bit of confusion of the window. Now I can see why this was done, because it's big money for a player you can invest in. He's one for the future, he's a young player of high quality. But it does leave us with a problem in one position. And that man is Danny Preston from Nottingham Forest. 23 years of age, a left back on 3,800 a week as a squad player, 3.5-star ability, 4-star potential. We're trying to get him working on not diving into tackles already, but He's pretty much the same as the lad we just bought in on loan from Celtic in Luke Chambers. We've already got Jordan Marshall, who was a very good left back. If you remember from last season, 3-star ability. We've got Archibald and Clark Robertson that can play there. So it does seem we're a little bit oversubscribed in that position. He is a very good player, and I've got no doubt he'll continue to improve. But I just question the logic of a big money 4-year deal for a player who might not start for us. I mean, with Europe, we can give 2 of them good amounts of football. But for Preston, he can't really play anywhere else. For Chambers, bar the number 10 role, bizarrely, he can't play anywhere else. And Jordan Marshall, let me go and have a look. So he can play centre-half a bit. I might have to retrain him. But we've got good youngsters there, so I don't know that will be done. We've had another youngster coming in, Connor Salisbury. We did lose out on a signing who rejected us despite being offered a contract. That was Ebu Adams from Forest Green. And he would have been a superstar addition too. So I'm really disappointed by that. But the director of football's been brilliant. I mean, you can look at that transfer work and see there's a vision already. He's clearly desperate to give us success. He's really given us a platform for the season. And we've got a good, strong squad that can compete in Europe, compete domestically. And he's still got 3 weeks to add to it. And a fair amount of money remaining too. 4.9 million, 16 grand a week on the wage budget. And he's still been putting in offers throughout. So I've certainly got no complaints about him. I think this is the first time in the window we've gone 4 days without an offer. But even then, I think Adams rejected us within that time. So a really promising summer. I'm delighted with where we are. We're going to keep the same tactic. We're going to keep the same sort of playing style into the new season. If we go and have a quick look at the club vision, we've got to be competitive in Europe. We've got a qualifier coming up next episode. We've got to finish in the top half of the Scottish Premiership. And we've got improvements to all our facilities too. It really is a club on the up. So if we have a look at the schedule, after these couple of games, we've got our playoff for the Europa League. We will either then win and go into the Europa League group stages or lose and go into the Europa Conference group stages. So guaranteed European football. It looks like the heavy favourites for that tie is Olympiacos, and that will be a very difficult match for us. So if we look at players like Pepe in the middle there, high quality. Yann Villa, a former wonder kid in this game, former good player for Sunderland. Matteo Darmian's another well-known name there. A lot of players on 30, 40, 50 grand a week. And that's another former Celtic man, isn't it? It is. Hatem Abd El Hamad, another good player, just past his prime there. I feel we could give him a game, but even if we lose, we've got group stage football, and that's something to be excited about. But today, the focus is on Hibernian. On the telly on Sunday afternoon, most sides have played their first game already. Celtic, the holders, have been in action. They drew, as did Rangers. So early signs that it might be a slightly closer league this year. But of course, those sides have got Europe to worry about too. So let's go and get into our first game of the season. Hibernian v Dundee, the same tactical setup. And I'll be back in a moment with the lineup. Here we go then. The tactic we've come to know and love. And probably the thing that I've reflected on this summer is the fact that it's the one that we've had for years that's had the least tactical instructions on it. Normally we had loads of shouts on, loads of instructions, loads of little individual tactical bits. And this one we haven't really done that. We've just sort of trusted the players in a tactical shape. And they've been disciplined. They've been really good. Now, we have got some injury problems for this. And there's more of the new players starting than I would have liked. So Aaron Chapman, last year's keeper, is injured. That's not a huge one for me. What is a big one is Akinola, the centre-half. He will still be first choice. But Clark Robertson's in for him due to injury. We're also missing the young left-back Luke Chambers, who's got a slight knock. So that means Preston will start with Jordan Marshall on the bench. We've then also got Forrest just back from injury, so he's not going to be involved today, which means both Cooper and Richie Hosler will start, where I was going to go for just one to start with. So it is a little bit more change than we expected. Also debuts, of course, for Harvey Griffiths in the middle. We've talked about Bentley briefly in goal and both of the wingers. But we've still got the legend that is Carlton Morris up front, the likes of Scott Pittman, Rodriguez Goran, all of the best players from last season. The fullback in Jordan McGee and the centre-half Hakeem Adoffin. So all of the best players from last season combined with a number of new signings. Let's go and see what the result is. It might not be an instant impact, but hopefully it'll be a strong performance over the season. Hibernian v Dundee, let me know what you think the score will be. As Hibs are littered with all of the names I can't pronounce in a non-English way, as some of you say. Stevie Milan, we've also got John Suter, Jimmy Dunn, the former Burnley man, he's a good player. Ryan Porteous there at centre-half, Will Vauxhall scored against us in that Luton save if I remember. Jordan Jones, Jason Cummins, another former Luton player, and then the likes of Liam Palmer and Yannick Toure on the bench. A really good squad. They've definitely improved over the summer. And don't forget, they only just missed out on Europe. 6th place for Hibernian. And we're apparently the underdogs. We've got Scott Pittman motivated. The rest is the same. So through the tunnel interview we go. And into the first day of the Scottish Premiership season. Let's see how we get on. Just over 10 minutes on the clock. No real threat at either end. But we have got a corner here. Headed away as far as Jason Cummins. A little bit of a shirt clash actually on the pitch. And he's beaten 2 men into the box alone. Brilliant play from the centre forward. And he's got it in off the post, has he? McGee heads off the line. It's brilliant play. Into Sutar the second time. And it is not a good start to the season. Hibernian 1, Dundee 0. And a pretty poor first 14 minutes. Hibs have had their first shot on target. But they've had a few other efforts as well. 6 shots and we've not had a first. And they're playing out from the back again with Jimmy Dunn. To Milan, out to Sutar. Marauding forward down the right. Not bad for what was a centre-half as a youngster. Albeit a former wonder kid in this game. Jordan Jones with a block cross. Back to Cooper. My worry for today, because of the injuries, is a few too many new players at once. A few players not quite gelled into the system. And a few that just aren't quite up to match fitness. As Wilson gets it on the left-hand side. Crosses back. Aiming for the referee almost there. Falls for Will Vaux though. Back to Milan. Time to Vaux again. Picks it up in the centre circle. And they're just keeping it nicely here. Hibs are taking the mick out of us. They're in behind again. Jones back. And it's 2-0 in 16 minutes. I'm going to go positive and start berating. Because after an absolutely brilliant end to last season. And 3 fantastic years in the head coach. We have not started this season well at all. Hibs utterly dominant. Not even a shot for us yet. And the host deservedly 2 up. Probably could have been more. Well, what's concerned me after the summer break is that is probably the worst performance we've had since we joined Dundee. And for it to happen in that game is really bizarre. So, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get angry early on. I'm going to point the finger and say I want much better. And bar Harvey Griffiths, I look to have got a good reaction. So, we're going to go attack him. We're going to really try and get on the front foot. But it's in vain at the minute. It's been a brilliant display from them. And we're still yet to have a shot on target. I mean, it's not going well at all, really. And it's a throw on the left-hand side. Clark Robertson over the top. Carlton Morris will chase it, but it's pretty much hit and hope at the back there. Porteous placed to Dunn, and now Sutar. Into midfield to Milan again. Sutar over the top. Flicks up, but Robertson heads it away. Richie Holster, what is that? Literally headed it back to the Hibs midfielder. Does he think he's playing for them? That was appalling. Jones picks it up on the right, finds Milan. And Hibs have looked more comfortable than any other side we've played against. Cummins has got in. Bentley makes a great save. I don't know what to say. Where has this come from? There's no defensive strategy. There's no real sort of effort to get to the ball. Jimmy Dunn misses a free header there. And you think the way we defended in that cup final, the way we counter-attacked. And here we've looked absolutely toothless. I'm going to drop back to balance because we're on the verge of embarrassing ourselves here. And even a Doffin only heads it to Vaux. And this team's going to have to gel quickly because we could get embarrassed in Europe and it could be a disappointing season. The problem with overachieving, as we did last season, is we're now expected to finish top half with a side that's only been back up 1 year. And once we get a few injuries, we're not great. As Jimmy Dunn goes long, headed away by McGee. Here's Richie Hosler. Can he do something good? Because he's not had a very good game at all. Comes to halfway. He's running down a blind alley but gets out of it. To Carlton Morris. To Pittman. Out wide to McGee. He's got no one in the box. Crosses towards Cooper. Cooper gets in late on no. And it is 2-1 on the hour mark. A brilliant run from the winger. And we said he might become a star for us. I'm getting a bit more confident now. Our first shot on target. And half an hour now to get back on terms. As Hibs have got it on the right again. If anything, they look more likely to re-establish it. Straight in for 3-1. Literally straight in. It is so poor. I can't even remember last season. The last time we conceded 3 goals with Dundee. It was few and far between, if any at all. Let me go back and have a look. So the last time we conceded 3 goals was our second game in charge against Rangers in a 3-1 defeat. There are some real alarm bells ringing here. I know the injury to the centre-half is a big one, so I'm going to get young Archibald on. He's as good as Clark Robertson anyway. So this is a perfect time for him to get football. Richie Hosler on the right has been poor. So let's get an inside forward on in Logan Chalmers. And what else can we do? I would say Carlton Morris, but we haven't got the same quality of backup. He did find one, our director of football, but he failed a work permit. Goran's at danger of being booked. Preston at left back's been poor as well. And he's nervous. But I'm not sure which one to go for. So I think Goran will take off. Sean Byrne on for him. Let's drop Griffiths into the playmaker role because he's a little bit better defensively. And Sean Byrne on to break it box to box. But 3-1 to Hibs, an utter dominance. We have no complaints about the result, but more than our fair share of worries about this performance. And yet again, it's Hibs coming forward, and this could become embarrassing. It's out to Doig on the left-hand side, chance to cross. Cooper intercepts though. Can we get a consolation on the counter? Morris has skinned his man, almost similar to the cup final this, but goes in one-on-one, does not try and lob the keeper. And maybe he should, because it wasn't a good finish. Straight at the keeper who saves. And a corner kick now for Dundee. Pittman will take it. In swinger from the left-hand side. Chance to pick out someone, but he goes straight to Jimmy Dunn. Archibald, for some reason, wasn't even attacking the box. And he's back to Preston. But a really toothless display. And that effort from Morris, only our second shot on target. Hibs dominated. They deservedly won and probably should have had more. A really bad day at the office. And after a first day of the season we were looking forward to, we've managed to demotivate most of the team, upset some of the dressing room, and lose our first game of the season. And there's the confirmation. We're outside the relegation zone, I presume on goals scored. Livingston must have lost 2-0 to St Johnstone. Motherwell lost by 3. And our rivals are top of the table. Not the best start to the season, that. I was expecting a little better. And I'm hoping we can bounce back soon. We've got Dunfermline at home, probably the banker of the season based on them coming up. Morton, a lower league side in the second round of the Cup. And then we've got the Europa League playoff, which we will be back for on the 24th of August. 18 days, there may be more signings by then. I just don't know. But we're going to need a reaction because that performance was really, really concerning. But if you did enjoy the transfer special, we're not going to get too downbeat just yet because we could bounce back. We lost our first 2 games when we joined the club and we did all right after that. But if you did enjoy the episode, the transfer special, the signings galore, and of course just being back for a new season with Dundee, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. Bangor City will be back tomorrow. We'll be live streaming as it's Tuesday as well. That one will be at 5:30 PM. So I'd love it if you're able to come along for that. Thank you for your incredible support on the channel and over on the podcast too. And I'll see you next time for Europa League football and the playoff with Dundee. Can we get to the group stages in the Europa League? Or will our poor start to the season continue? I'll see you there to find out.